everybody, and welcome to Ikigai week, bringing you on ZMS live streams. We are bringing you 5 days of action, 5 days back to back, tied in with the Olympics, but we're starting off with the 56.5 kilometre road race, which features the women's road race course. If you did watch it this morning, very exciting race. I will probably give a few spoilers away throughout the commentary, so I do apologise. Don't let that be a reason for you to turn off this live stream though. Stick with us and then go watch the race later on. So we are starting about 60 kilometres into the women's road race. That was 130k, so we're a little bit shorter than that. We're not going to take the full 4 hours that they did today. So we're going to be starting up round about Lake Yamamanka. We're going to do a loop around there. That's the sort of first 15 kilometres of the race. Then there's a long descent for about 15 kilometres. Then we'll head up to the Fuji International Speedway, do a little loop of that, get our eyes in, and then we come back out of the circuit, do another little loop out into the nearby town, around Oyama and Kitago, and then we will loop back in for one final lap of the Fuji Speedway before finishing on the start-finish line. So today we've got around about 630 metres of climbing within that distance, 1.14 kilometres of descent. There's about, well, you can see as you come down from the lake, down towards the speedway, that's about 15 kilometres of almost continuous descent. There is one little bit of steep climbing within that section. There's a little bit where it does hit 15% uphill gradients. So it's not all about coasting today. Got a good field here, 84 riders currently on the start line. One's lined up there, still a few riders coming in. The big names are present on the start line, as you would expect. Such a high profile event. Great that we've been able to recreate the real Olympic course. So this is an event that's being organised by Rasio Racing. So they've set up all a week-long's worth of events. So we're going to have a time trial tomorrow, Omnium style event on Tuesday, climbing up the Mikuni Pass Wednesday, and then a quick race on Thursday. Right, 10 seconds from the start. I'm going to get powered up because it's only about half a kilometre and then we are straight into a descent. So making sure, look at that field streaming away. Here we are then with the Danish rider. Okay, headed down, there's a few Danish riders in the event. Straight away we're strung out on this descent, which will bring us down to the lake level. Then it's about 12 kilometres of reasonably flat riding. There is a tiny little bump part way through, and then we'll hit the first meaningful climb, which is about 2.5 kilometres long. So you can just see at the bottom of the screen there, that's today's profile of the course. We're starting over on the left hand side, just coming off those dark blue lines. The bunch has formed now, 40-50 riders in this group. I'm just looking through the names. We've got the Rasio Racing guys in good numbers, as you'd expect. A couple of riders there, 5 of them. Just trying to get back in onto the group. They're 60 metres behind at the minute. They might have a chance, especially with a few more riders coming to join them there with the 15 or so. So they might just work hard and It's a long race today, 56 kilometres. It's on the upper end of distance for events on online platforms. You do get them longer, but generally they tend to be around 45 minutes. And we're expecting today's race to be around about an hour and 20 to an hour and a half for the leaders. A big second group forming there on the road. There we go, there's the two groups. There's a pretty undulating course today. There's going to be some moments where you can get good rest. There's also going to be good hard moments where you're going to need to work hard. So on the front here, Casper headed them. Danish rider, alongside Fondo, another Danish rider. You see they're driving the pace on the front early on. There is a team element in today's race and across this whole series. So it might be that that rider is being tasked with putting in some early pressure to try and break up this field, trying to reduce it down a little bit. But I think the course itself is just going to be tough enough to whistle this field down. For those of you who watched the men's road race yesterday, the women's road race this morning, very small fields that made it to the finish line to test the sprints. It really was two elite groups. So we're pretty much on the part of the course where Annemiek van Vleuten, in today's women's race, this is where she'd attacked off the front of the peloton. She was riding on her own for quite a while, and it was on this part of the course. Hey everyone, here I am on the live stream, got the video on, got the top on as well, just so that we don't get X-rated comments on YouTube or ZMS on the Facebook stream. So yeah, we're broadcasting today on YouTube under Mike Lister 66, and we're also on ZMS live stream on Facebook, and we're also on Twitch, and you can tune in on your telly as well. So the ESTV app, if you're on a Sony TV, or if you've got Hulu installed, then you can find us on your TV. So, plenty of ways to watch us today. Please do interact with the streams. If you're on YouTube, I can read out your comments. If you're on Facebook, we can call them up onto the screen. I'll try and answer some questions. We've got Wayne Kent there. Hi Wayne. He's watching on YouTube. Please throw us a little like and subscribe to our channels if you're watching, it really does help. Alright. Just starting to hit this initial little climb then. See in the top right hand corner of the main screen, that's the profile of the upcoming kilometre, and it's just starting to tilt up. It's only about a kilometre long, this initial climb. I say climb. It's a little bump. It will make you work a little bit. There's a little 7% section that we just went over at the start, and it flattens off to 3 or 4%. And then there's another tiny little kicker before the downhill starts. Looks like a little bit of separation. It's not very long, still plenty of draft saving available. Still a big group here. Still an opportunity for riders to get back on. Hi there, Stuart. Stuart tuning on YouTube, saying this is so hard. So Stuart's in the race as well. He's wearing a dirt kit. Dad's indoors riding trainers. There he is. Look at that, a bit of magic from our producers there. Look at that, 450 watts. He's not wrong when he says it's hard. He's just working there just to get on the back of this little group. We're about to start the descent. Oh, bit of a breather, and we're back on the flats. Not very long, this descent. It's not the main descent. Still about another 9 kilometers before we start that. Stuart's rolling through to the front now. Ikigai, he's a strong rider. He won the classic THU race just a few days ago. Which was a pretty undulating course, not too dissimilar to this course. Some punchy climbs. I believe he is a Chilean national time trial or medal winner is what I want to say. I'd have to check my stats book on that, but I know he's a talented rider in the real world. He's got a good engine. Well, to place, he's a gold rated rider on the RGT ranking system. So on rgtdb.com. Getting a bit of wave in there from Foundballer on the front. So this is a ranked race. Points will be awarded and taken away at the finish line. So you certainly do want to make sure you finish today's race if you can. You're not going to get pulled out if you fall too far back. So at the Olympics, if you're 12 minutes behind, that's it, you're cut from the race, you're on your own. None of that today, you can keep riding to the finish. It's pretty strung out. You can see there's still a few riders coming up that first little bump we went up. Some riders, of course, just out to enjoy riding this road, this representation of the Women's Olympic course. Having watched it on TV this morning, there will be a few bits of the course that, despite the scenery, we're using the spring and classic. Spring in Europe, I should say, skin. So the scenery is a bit generic, but the road is a good representation. It mirrors the climbs, it mirrors the turns, so we can really put ourselves through the same efforts that the ladies went through earlier today. See if there's any attacking. The men also did do this bit of the course. They then went down to the speedway and then they did the Mikuni pass is a pretty steep climb. And whilst the ladies don't do that, you will be able to compete in the mountain climb series, the mountain climb event, which is on Wednesday, and that is an 18-kilometre climb up that pass. That will be starting at 7 PM this Wednesday, 7 PM UK time, and we'll be bringing you live coverage of that. So that's on Wednesday, and there's events every day. Monday there's the time trial, which does mirror the 27-kilometre time trial course. Tuesday is a Omnium style event, and then on Wednesday the mountain climb, and Thursday we've got a crit race of circa 40 kilometres around the Fuji Speedway. So you'll get a little look at that in a minute, around about, I don't know, 45 minutes time. We'll be doing 2 laps of that today, but with a small extra loop in between. You can see Fondo there off the front. Doesn't have much of a gap, only 20 metres. Stuart Featherstone there on the YouTube channel, just asking me how I'm commentating and riding in this front group. Well, bit of practice. But yeah, I'm pretty warm. That's one thing the riders did say about riding in Japan. The heat, the humidity was pretty high. So they were racing from around about midday till 4 PM today. And in the men's race yesterday, it was a bit longer. They started at 10 in the morning and rode for 6 hours. And I did have a little chuckle when I heard about one of the tennis players was complaining that they were having to play in the heat and could the matches be pushed back into the evening. But yeah, the riders, they said it was hot and humid. Had to make sure that they were drinking quite a lot. Circa 3 bottles per hour, 1.5 litres is what I heard on the commentary this morning. I've got plenty of bidons around me. I've also got a few energy gels and brunch bars. Not something I'd normally consider on an indoor ride, but with the humidity, it's pretty warm in the garage, not much airflow, though I have got the fans on, and the distance. So we will be riding for an hour and 20, hour and a half. So with the water loss through the sweating, definitely going to be needing to replace some fluids to make sure that I'm maintaining that performance, not risking cramps. And making sure that I don't run out of energy. So about 1/5 of the way into the race, a little bump here. Oh, that's done. We're just slightly settling down. Once again, we see header dam off the front here, 500 watts. Just putting in there. So the next meaningful climb starts in around 1 kilometre's time, and it's about 2.2 kilometers long. It's pretty undulating. It's not very consistent. 6 and 7% bits, then it drops down to 2 or 3, rises back up again. A short 9% section, and then the long descent to the finish. Well, not the finish. Long descent down towards the motor circuit. Interesting move here by Casper Hededum. Is he maybe burning a match before the climb? I'm sure we're going to see it strung out on the climb. Draft saving will drop off on those steeper 6 and 7% sections. So there's an average gradient of 5% for 2.3 kilometers. But that belies that it's not very consistent. We see that Hededum slowly being reeled in here at the base of the climb. Joy Shepherd of the Rasio team doing the work on the front. See me working there on the camera. Just trying to manage my effort. No one going too crazy. We're realising there's a long way to go just yet. You can see it's quite bunched up. Not strung out at all. A couple of riders there just gapped off the back. Des Reed of the Pedalers team, Pete Austin, and Daniel of the OTR team. This will be a war of attrition today. Calm it down a bit just whilst I concentrate on this climb. This is a key part of the race. My heart rate is up at 203. Not been that high for a while. A mixture of the effort, the heat, humidity. Oh. About 500 meters from the top of the climb now. Looks like this front group has reduced down to 20 riders then. Before the descent. There we go, over the top. Gradient goes negative. Oh. Chance for a breather. "18 riders in this selection. You see Rob Stone here making a push off the front. Is he hoping to do an Anna Kiesenhofer? She actually attacked just a little bit earlier. She attacked on the base of that last little climb. So Rob is riding as a solo rider, I believe. No teammates to help him. Rasio look like they've got 4 riders in this front selection. You see 2 of the orange kits from pedalers. That's the team of Jez Reed. So one of the orange kits looks like it's Seb from Dirt. So there's Rasio Racing then. 6 races in the series. Jan Decker, Andrei Kajewski, Joris Shepherd, Alex Plager, Mark Rowbottom, and RGT's marketing director James Vickers has been snapped up by the Rasio team. I don't think James made the start line today. Nick Greenall, also representing Rasio, is in the list. Maybe an unofficial rider, not in the official team selection. We've got Kajewski in this front group, Decker's here. I think I saw Shepherds as well, so they're well represented in this front group. There's an unofficial dirt trio of Seb Beast, Stuart Featherstone and myself. That's our domestic teams. We're in international colours today, of course. Stuart enjoying this downhill section. Getting into the super tuck. Not yet banned on RGT, only banned by the UCI. I don't know if it was banned by the Olympic Committee. I didn't see any super tucking on the broadcasts. Here's Rob Stone then, putting out a handy 4 watts per kilo on this downhill. Not quite out of sight. This 75 metre gap. Still a fair bit of downhill to go. Not even halfway down yet. So a reminder, if you are watching on YouTube, and I can see your comments, and if you're on Facebook, which I don't have access to, but maybe I can load it up. Got all sorts of technology here in front of me. Desks for the mouse and keyboard. Got Riley there in the chat room. Rob Stone is a TT specialist. If anyone can go off the front and hold it, Rob is the man. Rob and his son Will, they did the 24-hour event, the longest day back in December, and the shortest day in Britain. They were doing 24 hours around RGT. Something like 800 kilometers, I think it was, Rob racked up on that ride. An amazing effort. Would have been a bit cooler in December. I don't have a thermometer to hand, so I can't see what my temperature is inside the garage. Stuart, we've got 35 kilometers to go, so about 21 and a half, 22 miles. In about 5 kilometers, we've got a real tasty little selection point. A couple of 15% gradients, so get ready for those. So we've done 171 metres of climbing, still 400 metres or so to go. Rob Stone now, 200 metre lead. He's really pulling that out. Peloton's going to have to put the hammer down once they hit the flatter sections. That's when they're going to have a chance to pull this back. But Rob is shooting for Olympic glory here. Right, fluids. Once we've got this slightly calmer section, still got to be alert though. Speeds are up at 60 kilometers an hour. So it's easy to get dropped off the back if you're not paying attention on a corner. Take a little look at Rob's stats there. Look at that, consistently 370 watts. What an effort. Really consistent, steady heart rate. We've actually hit just a slightly flatter section. Only 3% downhill at the moment, but still downhill. Still to his benefit. Chasing group of 17 as it stands. And once we've ticked off 23 kilometers in that half an hour, that's 40% of the race distance. A lot of that has been downhill, so we have ticked it off nice and quick. Probably just getting up over 400 watts again there. Back up to 250 meter lead. Peloton just watching and then waiting at the moment. And there's still potentially around at least 45 minutes of racing to go. No need to panic yet. I don't know if Rob's going to get a gold helmet like Greg Van Avermaet to wear for the next several years. It's individual glory for today's event, and there is a series as well. That's up for grabs. We complete all of the event, all 5 days events. Just a little bit of separation in the peloton. They rounded a fast corner, it just got strung out. But the riders are working hard to get back on. Tiny little uphill section here. And back downhill. Just Around about a kilometre out, a little less than that from the steep section. It's not very long, but it will scrub off the speed. No disrespect to Rob, but I know he's a little bit of a, he's got that power, he's got the big legs, big muscles, but that does mean a little bit of a weight penalty on those steeper sections. There he is then, 14%. Right, you can see the speed scrubbed right off. Here comes a charging peloton behind. All that hard work has been undone. Little wave to the camera there from Rob. Got his TV time. It's a hard little section. And it continues. 3% uphill. Oh. Right. Ooh. Another tough section. Got a little selection. A little bit more whittling down. Rob Stone has stayed in this group. There's me. Just going to catch my breath. Into this group. Got slightly strung out again on this fast section. Should push, get back onto the front. There we go. So down to 13 riders then. Try and give you a roll call if I can. Stuart Featherstone, Rob Stone, Doris Shepherd, Andrew Kajewski, Daniel Cadiz, Seth Beast, Joris Vlacic, Jan Decker, Walter Clace, Nick Greenall, Baldwaller, Mike Lister, and Highbowl. So 13 riders here in this select group. You can see we've just gone through the yellow banner, the yellow arch. That's halfway. And that took us 35 minutes with a lot of downhill. So see how this pans out on the second half. Not so many big climbs. A couple of 1 kilometre sections. The next bit of note is the climb up onto the circuit, the Fuji International Speedway. So there's a pretty steady 6% gradient. It's about 900 metres. Flattens out. Half a kilometre, 500 metres, and another 700 metres, so 2 kilometres of which 75% is climbing to get us up onto the circuit. And that starts at 31 kilometres, so not too far off now. we'll get a look at the finishing circuit for the first time. Getting the fluids on. There's a small chase group of 4 riders that are half a kilometre back. Getting a bit of attack. Rob Stone again, dragging this peloton along. 13 riders remain in this front group. We're around about 80 starters. The last little bit of opportunity to rest right now. Making sure at this point you manage that effort, try and rest when you can, but you also just need to mind that you don't fall off the back. Small little bump here before we hit that main climb up to the circuit. And you'll get these now on the front. Sharp left, and then right, and we swing onto this drag. Don't want to go too crazy. Still 24 kilometres of racing to go. It's a pretty steady effort. Make it all count. I am working hard. 6.5% gradient. Trying to settle into a rhythm. Don't get carried away. Yeah, you know, I'm working hard when the talking stops. Little flat section. If we look back at Ogilvy, Plager and Spolsgar, Pickadees on the front then, as we go under the racetrack into the centre of the circuit. A little bump up to the circuit proper. Thanks to the producer for putting the team list up as my heart rate reaches 180. I appreciate that. Cheers, Damon. You can read the names. Ooh. Right, I'm on the top of that section. Through what is the pit lane. Try and get a bit of respite. Cadiz and another rider off the front here. Rob Stone again. Being a monster. No one dropped on that section then. These are two strong guys. Can't give them too much of a lead. Up to 100 metres. Riders are looking at the Rasio team. They're the team with numbers. They're the Super Dutch team in terms of RGT. Just holding those front two, 50 metres. They might just be stretching their legs ahead of the next time we hit that circuit. Next time being the last time, of course. So we do one lap, and then we head out to a little circuit around the nearby village, and we come back in for one final stab. The actual final circuit isn't too hilly. It's about 1.5% downhill for the first half. You can see to the right hand side, that's where the start finish line is. So we are just a little bit lower. And the second half of the course, a gentle 1% drag back up to the finish line. So ECKD, that's the Danish riders. They've got 3 teams in today's race and over the course of the 5 events, and the team time trial as well. We've just done a Tour de France special week. Now we're doing an Olympic special week. And there's ECKD 3. I don't speak any Danish, so I can't do it in Danish for you. Stuart Featherstone there on the front, pulling us along, a handy 4.5 watts per kilo. Andrei Kajewski taking over, front to 100 metres, it's not going out. They're holding around about 3.8 to 4 watts per kilo. And there's the Moon Riders team. They rode in Tour de Monde, regulars with the team time trial as well. Proud while they're there. Just trying to stay in contention at the rear of this front group. Putting some early efforts. This group seems to be rolling around okay. Just keeping that lead at 100 metres. Front two, keeping it up at 4 watts per kilo. They're on the start finish straight now. The peloton can just see them. Just see them about to come under that bridge. That's the peloton. 130 metres back. So 2/3 distance is done. 18 kilometres to go. We're 50 minutes into this race. 340 metres of climbing done. There's still a few hundred metres yet. It's not an easy final 18 kilometres. Quite a long drag to that finish line. It's actually slightly downhill for the last tiny little bit. But the final 2K is pretty much exclusively 1% uphill. So we've got a little descent section coming up for 1.5K. A little bit more than that, 2K. And then there's a 5% average gradient for 3K. We exit the circuit then. Just have to get the power up this little climb. Ooh. Good job I was paying attention. Got the rider just caught off the back there. This front two, the gap is closing. You can see that on the screen. Peloton a little bit clearer, down to 75 metres. Actually, there's a bit of a split. Stone has slightly dropped Khadid's Looks like Seb Beast has got back into the peloton. Krajewski still slightly off the back. Just caught out by that little bump on the exit of the circuit. He's working hard to get back on. He's just dangling at 20 metres at the moment. Needs to really push for this next big downhill. And that's it, looks like his race is done. We're down to a dozen riders. Just under 16 kilometres, 10 miles to go then. And this attrition continues. That's it, just a little bit of rest. A bit on the right hand side, that's where we'll climb back up. Around about 7 or 8 kilometres time. The road that goes back up to the circuit. And those front two just stretching out their lead again, gained another couple of seconds. 9 seconds now. It's not much. It's 2 versus 10 at the moment. Been out there for about 6 kilometres. Working well together, they seem to be taking turns, switching it up. One on the front does it 15 seconds, the other one comes through, gives the other a bit of a rest. But these little bumps, this is where the peloton, as we saw earlier when Rob Stone was out front, can really do some damage. Close those gaps up. There we go, Stone is caught. If these hangs on. Stone's race is run, not won. 13k to go. Good effort by Rob Stone. Animated the race. Put some good attacks in. Just come up a bit short today. They've got a healthy lead. Stone and Krajewski. Back to the other riders. 2.5 kilometres back. This shows how well this front group's been working together. We're down to 11. And the road goes up again. Actually, we're down to a dozen. Got my calculations wrong somewhere. Oh, Rob Stone's got back on. Great effort. That's where my calculations gone wrong. Did not factor in Rob Stone. Putting in a great little effort to get back in touch and into this pack. More for me for ruling him out. I wrote him off so his race was done. Must have heard me on the commentary. He's giving me two fingers. Said I'm back. Or 11% section. These on the front again, stretching it out. Yeah, they do, Riley, those little gradient changes. Got to respond. Saw Jan Decker 15 metres off the back just now. You have to work hard to get back on, that'll be a match spent. You wouldn't have expected him to see him off the back. Oh. Foul ball off the front now. Bit of a 25-metre gap. This section's just around about 4 or 5%. About 2.5 kilometres. Hack's just happy to let him go at this point. No one looking to do the chase. He builds up a 60-metre lead. Rider's just getting a breather. It really has been an animated race with attacks. Riders off the front. But the peloton's done a good job at just controlling things so far. None of those gaps have got more than 250 metres. They've all been pulled back. Past the hour mark then, 10 kilometres still to go. tiny 12% kicker coming up. One to watch out for. Feldwald are now 150 metres ahead. Still not quite at the top of the climb. Ten kilometres to go for the peloton, just under for our race leader, Feldwald. A nice little lead at the minute. He's trying to animate it off the front again. It starts to level out now. Rob Stone going across. Hearts are going to be broken in a minute. We're going to go down this descent and then climb back up onto the circuit. That's 6% climb for 1.5k. So a little break off the front. Stone and Green all 50-metre gap off the peloton. And then Feldwald's another 200 metres up the road from them. Sizable gap now for him. The biggest gap on the day we've seen. This peloton is reducing in size. It's going to make it harder for them to pull this back. 9 riders in this group. Who's going to do the work? Are we going to have a stalemate? Is there going to be confusion? Is there going to be an unlikely winner? We saw Carapaz in the men's race. He attacked early, managed to stay away. See Stone, Green all there, they're not out of sight. That's down to 50-metre gap. And there's Feldwald, just ahead of them, I think. Yeah, down to 100 metres now. Those three are about to join. There they are, joining up. It's now 3 versus 9. They start to climb up onto the circuit then. Just have to watch because there will be some lapped riders. There's one. He's taking it up at the front. Oh. 6 kilometers. I am racing and doing comms, so the comms might disappear. There's our leader, 5 kilometers to go, 550 watts. That beast is trying to bridge across. There he is, Seb. Getting wheeled in by the peloton. Oh, into the pit lane. No pit stops. chase group is split up a little bit. They can see Caddies up the road. 100 meters. Can he stay away? We're down to 8 in this chase. 7, excluding Caddies. Rough Stone doing the work on the front. Oh, 5 seconds, agonising. "25 meters, he's right there." Staying there, giving a wave to the camera. Need to focus, Rob. Coming into the business end now. It's all back together again. Anyone's race at this point. 2 kilometers to go. 1.5% gradient drag. There's Decker, Urchich and Shepherd. They're 150 meters back. These guys up front play a bit of cat and mouse. They could come back into it. You don't want to be up against Decker in a sprint. Powerful sprinter. That's a long straight finish line. It's going to be a drag race to the line. 1,500 meters. Baking going on. Riders jostling for position. So hit this final bend. There's the Flamme Rouge. 1k to go. Onto the straight. $7.50. $500. I think Velodrome took it. Oh. Oh. Green all second. And Lister takes third. Decker then with a long ranger. Oh, he's going to take ninth. Well done, Stuart. Great ride. Great finish. Oh. Winning by 0.9 of a second. Oh. Walter Clace in fourth. Valsborough in fifth. Cadiz in sixth. Seb in seventh. Stone in eighth. Oh. So second to seventh. 200th of a second in it. Oh. Your unofficial results. So unofficial dirt team then. Oh, I think my trainer came a bit loose there. Stuart Featherstone coming in with the win. Nick Greenall, Rasio Racing in second. Myself in third. Place in fourth, Valbol in fifth. It's Kajewski coming across the 13th place then. Whew. So the peloton managed to control it, bring back every break apart from that very last one there by Stuart Featherstone, who broke with about 350 metres to go. Managed to get a bit of a slipstream off Rob Stone, who went early. Seb as well, fairly early. The pack managed to just catch those two. And Greenall just pipping me on the line. 0.03 seconds between us two, close on the time. That's the difference between silver and bronze. The difference between Wout van Aert and Tadej Pogačar for silver and bronze. So gold for Stuart Featherstone, the rider who has done a little bit on RGT. Not that familiar with him. We got across to the final results then. So there we go, just confirming 1 hour 18 minutes and 18 seconds. We said at the start of the show it'd be about an hour and 20. We weren't far wrong with our prediction. Top 8 there separated by 3.2 seconds. Fairly consistent, like 3.5 watts per kilo, 3.6, 3.3, 3.6. Daniel Cadiz and Rob Stone, 3.9 and 3.8. As expected, those two were putting in big turns. There's Seb, 3.1, very efficient riding from Seb there. And then Jan Decker and Joris Scheppers, 9th and 10th, rounding out the top 10. But around about half a minute down, those two just caught out on the accelerations as the race entered the circuit. So yeah, some great racing, some good attacks, riders doing what they could to try and get away, but the peloton were alert and they managed to keep them in check. So Joris Bercic in 11th, Henrik Heibol in 12th place, and with Kajewski in 13th place. That's four Rasio Racing riders in the top 13 then. And, yeah, thanks a lot for joining everyone. Stuart, you managed to race and comment on YouTube. I think maybe next time we'll get you on the commentary as well, see if that'll slow you up a little bit. Oh, you can see it's not always that easy commentating and racing. I'm sure at the end there was a few quiet bits when I was trying to focus, trying to watch those moves. You've got to be alert. But we've got 4 more days of racing coming up. So tomorrow is the TT individual time trial, and that is there's actually 4 time slots for that, but we'll be broadcasting the 7 PM UK time slot, and that is a 22-kilometre lap. It's based on the Real World Olympics time trial, which actually takes place on Wednesday, so you can get a heads up on that. And there's 370 metres of climbing. It's a challenging course. It does include the motor speedway circuit that we've just been racing on, as well as a loop out around the neighbouring villages. And then on Tuesday we'll be bringing you the Omnium, so 4 events back to back. It's not on the track, not like the indoor velodrome, but we have got a tempo points race, a scratch race, a sprint effort, and then the elimination race. And then day 4, Wednesday, the Mikuni Pass hill climb, 18.5 kilometres, zigzagging up. It's 846 metres of climbing, but that comes in the first 10 kilometres. And then there's a little bit of a loop around the edge of the lake that we did today, followed by 2.5 kilometre climb at the end. And then Thursday, we've got the crit race, which is 40 kilometres around the Fuji Speedway that you've just seen there. 9 laps of that race. All of these 7 PM UK time slots will be broadcast on our YouTube channel, Mike Lister 66, on ZMS live streams on Facebook. Please give us a few likes, subscribe, comment. It's all really helpful. Let us know that you're watching. Hope you've enjoyed the stream today. I'm going to wrap up there. I'll be back tomorrow. Riley Harvey will be joining me, and we'll be bringing you all the action from the time trial live from the Fuji Speedway. Thanks a lot, everyone. See you all again soon. Good racing. Enjoy RGT and enjoy the Olympics.